So I'm going to show you what you do to kind of pull one of these pictures out and change the background, and I'm going to show you why it doesn't work well on some pictures. So I'm going to pick I'm going to pick, let's say, this one, and then I'm also going to pick this one. Here's the original, and you can see the border. Clean that up a little bit, but I'm going to show you why it doesn't work with some pictures, just so you know. So let's just take this. We're going to open both of these up. And so in Photoshop you can take a what's called a clone tool, and anything that's in that circle you can highlight and copy that over somewhere. So if you highlight this, you're going to be copying that over there. So you can kind of, this is kind of how I do the pictures for you, and just get some of this uniform. And I'll show you why I do this for later. Okay, so it's pretty uniform now, and there's a big color separation between the background and the drawing here. So over here on the side you have a quick selection tool, and you can select like groups of areas, and the software knows the difference of this versus the color. So you can go in and just specifically pick out certain colors, and it'll know which one you're trying to get. And then if it's kind of bleeds over, sometimes you can erase some of it. Okay, and then I know down here there is a spot still needs to be fixed right here. Okay, so once you have all that selected, oops, no, I want to include this bottom portion. Okay. So once you have all that selected, you can go on a maybe any eraser, and it's only going to erase what you've selected, and it's not going to erase what you haven't selected. So that turns the background white, and that's what this is. You can make it black. That's one way of doing it. I believe you can pick a color. Anyway, so that's one way of doing it. And then the problem is that if there's not a real clear separation, you'll start to get some stuff like this. Okay, and so when you go into something like this drawing, for instance, here's the original. Here's after I cloned it, those sides out. And so the problem is when you try to do that with this, since there's not a huge color difference between this gray and the tan, when you try to do that color selection or that quick selection, and let's see, and you start picking the sections, it bleeds over past the gray, and it's just, you can't really get it back. You can try to go in and start, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can like go in and try to start deleting some of that gray, but it gets too confused and it doesn't know the difference. So when you start trying to get some of the pieces, it just gets like everything back again. So then when you try to start selecting that back, it starts bleeding back into the pieces. And so when you try to erase it, it's not going to look like how it was drawn. So that's an issue. And stuff like, let's see, I'll show you. Like this also, you have the same thing here. So the best I did was try to make a clear line, like it was almost a border. But so when you're drawing this stuff, it really helps to have like a black border, something that's going to separate this between this. And for the record, not drawing something to the very edge of the page helps out a lot too. Unless you plan on like selling this specifically, it would really help if you could draw it like inside the picture with a border, and then when we take the picture, we can make it as big or as small as we want. So I do have these 4 or these 3. I can give you this one the way it is, but I wouldn't think you'd want to sell this because you can clearly see it's paper, and there's, the problem with taking pictures of paper, in my opinion, is you can see stuff like let's see, I'll show you real quick. Like lines where maybe like it was wet, maybe bowed the paper up a little bit. You can kind of see it there. Oh, looks like I need to clean that up a little bit. You can see the lines there, because it looks like it was wet, so it's kind of bowed up a little bit. Where you can really see them there, and that's just from paper getting wet with like the Sharpie. I did clean that one up a little bit on the other one, so you can see it there. I need to go in there and make these whiter. I can see it now when I pull it up on my main screen, clear off some of this stuff. So I'm going to redo that, maybe re-upload them. I can see here. Some of them come real good because that doesn't look like Sharpie. Neither does that. But you can see there'll be little nicks. I'm going to make that whiter. I can see it's not all the way white. So anyway, I hope that helps when you're doing this. You can't really. This one's just going to be too difficult. There's not a significant light difference between that gray and the background. So anyway, love you guys. Give me a call.